Now the next thing I'd like to do is to get ready for making the run cycle. And for this character, I'm just going to do a standard 13 frame run cycle. Once again, I'm animating at 24 frames a second, but my run cycle will take place over 13 frames. And each of the frames within that run cycle will have a particular position, like frame 1 will be a contact position, frame 4 will be the passing position, frame 5 will be the up position. So I'll need to know exactly and easily which frame is which. Now I currently have all of my keyframes happening between 0 or between 1 and 60. What I need to do is move them. I want to be able to use the 1 through 13 frames, but my previous animation cycle is in the way. So I need to move them. What I'm going to do is use the dope sheet. I think that's usually about the easiest way to do it. So if I zoom in up here, I can see that up here in the summary row, I've got all of my keyframes. So I can select this and these here, and that will go ahead and select everything down below here. Now I didn't grab my default pose at frame 0. I'm going to keep that there for now. So I only need 13 frames down here. Maybe I'll move my idle to frame 20. Let's try that. So I'll just press the G key and move until I get up to frame 20 and click. And there we go. So now I've got this space free to do my run cycle. But if I zoom in here, you can see that between frame 0 and frame 20, I've got a lot happening in the curves here. I don't want that. I don't want all that happening. So I can take that default pose at frame 0, duplicate that. Let me zoom in a bit here. Shift D, and I'll move that up to frame 19. There we go. So now I've got a nice clear path in here from 1 to 13, and I've got my default pose holding that until just before I need it at frame 20. So to test this, I can always go down here to the start frame and type in 20, and looks like I probably go to 81, I think. Let's try that. Here it is. And we hit, if we go back to the beginning of this and hit play, we have a bit of a pop. Looks like I've got my frames a little off. Let me type in 22 and see what happens here. There we go. So I have it from 22 to 81 here. All right, that'll work. So now I need to go back to 1 through 13. So I'll type in 1 for the start, 13 for the end, and let's go over here and zoom in for that. And there it is. And I'll go back to frame 1. There. Now we have our range in which our run cycle is going to take place. All right, so let's start working on the legs. Let's try and figure out what our positions are going to be for each frame. Now for frame 1 and frame 7, I'm going to want a contact pose. And what I mean by that is the place where the heel of the character contacts the ground as he comes back down from the up position. So to begin with, I think I'm going to take these hands and the torso here. Let me turn on the manipulators again. I'm going to go to the Move tool, and in local transformation, my manipulators are a little bit out of alignment with the world. I'll go back to global for now, just as I move these things around. I'm going to move him down at frame 1, just a bit, like so. That will automatically create a keyframe because I've got auto key turned on down here. I think I'll go to my side orthographic view here, and maybe I'll rotate him forward just a bit, like that, so he's kind of leaning into the run. I'll take this foot here and move it forward, And this is the foot that I think I want him to contact the ground with. And I'll rotate that back just a little bit for the heel to hit, like that. I think I need this one to come up like this, and maybe like this. I'll go ahead and bring this down just a bit. I'll grab the hands too, just to keep him in line for now. And this torso. Bring that down a bit. Now I can get that foot to contact the ground, I think. Yeah, something like that. And I'm going to try and stay in line with this z-axis as I go. Try not to bring him forward or back too much. And maybe I'll bring this leg back just a hair, something like that. So there's frame 1. That same thing is going to need to happen at frame 13. So I'll grab this keyframe right up here that will select everything below it, duplicate it with Shift D, and then move it over to frame 13. And there we go. So now if I play it, it should just hold it throughout that whole cycle. All right. Now we need to have that same pose at frame 7, but flipped. So the feet are reversed. Let's come over here to frame 7. And I'm going to select everything with the A key, all the bones. And now I can come down here. I've middle mouse button dragged this menu bar over here because I don't have much screen real estate to work with. But if I scroll over here and I select this copy the current pose, I can copy those. And now if I paste here, it will flip those so everything is reversed. So the legs are reversed. So if I click this, now you can see the legs have been reversed. So if I hit play, we get the beginnings of a run cycle. So now we have our two contact positions at frames 1 and 7. Let's now work on the passing position at frame 4.